So I'm now here at Sandwich Bay, which is a very long line of sand dunes running up to the Stour. I used to spend a lot of time here as a teenager as a voluntary warden for the Kent Wildlife Trust Nature Reserve, where little terns used to nest. And I was here to protect them. And about where I'm standing now is a naturist beach, and the naturists like to wander onto the Little Tern Colony with all their bits hanging out, which was a bit difficult telling them to get off the nature reserve when they were stark bollock naked when you're about 14. Most of the plants here at Sandwich Bay along the sand dunes are plants that I associate with green roofs. We've got Hare's foot clover, we've got yarrow, we've got restharrow, and the reason why I came actually is to try and find some sea holly. And of course the sand dunes here are covered in sea holly. Now there's a horticultural variety of sea holly, a Echiu, which I've actually specified for a roof in Hoxton called the Mexican Plateau. And I've seen a couple of bits of Echiu vulgare, and actually Sandwich Bay is really famous for its orchids and its broom rapes. Not plants that normally you associate with green roofs, even though orchids have been found growing on roofs in London, and they are well known for growing on roofs in Switzerland. Just an army of marsh helleborine. And these are the first plants on land, and then we get to the, the sea holly's relatively an early coloniser. So this is sea spurge. You can see spurge-like flower heads. Don't think that'll grow on a green roof unless it's by the sea. There's quite a lot of it actually. And then things start to get, well vegetated. Very diminutive lady's bedstraw. You get in there, look, it's quite small. When you get it on Blackheath, it's much taller than that. And that's probably just the stress. So the dunes are absolutely covered in hare's foot clover. You can see all the silver of the hare's foot clover. Let's get in there. There it is. So if you're familiar with my videos, I never stop talking about hare's foot clover. So here's some restharrow. This is a common restharrow, not the spiny one. Oh, look, there's one there. Another bit there. Hello you. Oh, who are you? Come to inspect me. Now there's not huge amounts of Viper's bugloss here, but there's a bunch. Great plant. So if you looked at that and compared it to a green roof, you might even think it is a green roof because we've got a nice mix of sedums, hare's foot clover, a little bit of wild carrot, sea holly. It's just vegetated sand dune, the rear of it away from the sea. So the point is, let's try and make our green roofs more like vegetated shingle, vegetated cockle shells, and vegetated sand dunes. And we'll be delivering for biodiversity, not off the shelf just a sedum blanket, or even a wildflower turf, which is just so hard to keep alive on a green roof without significant irrigation. Let's make them dry and stressed and look at places like this. So I'm leaving the sea, heading across Prince's Golf Course, where there's lots of evening primrose. So I'm now about 200 or 300 metres from the sea, and there's still a lot of sedum out here, and it's probably not so saline here now. So I'm now in an old bunker. I don't think I use it very much now, but it's got quite a lot of evening primrose in it. And let's have a look at it. There we go. Blowing away in the wind. And that one's got a lot of seed pods. Now I've collected a lot of seed pods. So it's blowing a good strong sea breeze out there on the sand dunes. So I'm sheltering in these pines. I used to chase warblers, migrant warblers when I was a kid. And the other thing that happened while I was walking across the sand dunes, along the sand dunes, I saw a lot of linnets. And you won't find linnets feeding on a simple sedum blanket roof. There's nothing for them to feed on. And one of the great things that I find moving about the work that I've done for 20 years is I now see linnets on good biodiverse green roofs every time I go up. And they're feeding on the Echiu, vulgare and the other wildflowers. So as you can see, you know, when you look closely up at vegetated sand dunes, there's a lot of wildflowers, but there's also a lot of sedums. And also, obviously the reason I came here was to get some video footage of sea holly. Now it's late September and I really didn't think I'd see any sea holly in flower, but there were a few bunches. Some more in flower there, a good bunch. Pale blue head. Technically, the metric for biodiversity net gain good green roofs is about creating open mosaic habitat, which essentially is very, very similar to really good vegetated sand dunes, vegetated cockle shells, beaches, and vegetated shingle. And I'd say to people who are landscape architects or they're garden designers and they want to do something for biodiversity, come and visit places like this. So a great place to come and get inspiration if you want to design things in urban areas that deliver for biodiversity and create slightly open mosaic habitat. Hello you. Hey.